Welcome back to Project Aviate. Today we're diving into one of the most legendary fighters of World War II, the North American P-51 Mustang. When people think of dominance in the skies during the 1940s, few aircraft capture that image quite like this one. Sleek, powerful, and deadly effective, the Mustang didn't just look the part, it completely changed the course of air warfare. As we move through the images, let's explore why the P-51 became the icon it is, from its design and specifications to the combat victories that cemented its place in aviation history. Picture this scene on a bustling World War II airfield. Mechanics and ground crews are swarming over a freshly painted Mustang, the aluminum skin glinting even under cloudy skies, while pilots prepare for missions that could decide the fate of Europe. This was the daily reality for the men who flew and maintained this machine. Every rivet, every polish, every check meant life or death in the skis above, and standing there you can almost feel the anticipation in the air. Zoom in closer now to that iconic nose. The Mustang was often decorated with vibrant nose art, sharks' teeth, pin-up girls, patriotic symbols. But beneath the artwork, that sleek aluminum body and the bright red spinner were more than just aesthetics. The aerodynamic shape of the Mustang was revolutionary, reducing drag and maximizing performance. It was fast, agile, and efficient, allowing it to outperform many of its rivals even before a shot was fired. Now take a step inside the cockpit. The pilot's view was something unique. The dials, gauges, and stick controls created an environment that was both intimidating and empowering. With excellent forward visibility and carefully arranged instruments, the Mustang gave pilots a fighting chance in chaotic dogfights. Every time a pilot strapped in and gripped that control stick, they knew they were climbing into a machine designed for victory. But what really gave the Mustang its heart? The Royce Merlin engine. In one of our images you can see a cutaway diagram of that powerplant, and this is where the story of dominance truly begins. Originally, the Mustang had an Allison engine that struggled at higher altitudes, but once the Merlin was fitted, everything changed. The Mustang suddenly had speed, climb rate, and endurance at altitudes where German bombers and fighters operated. That combination turned it into an escort fighter that could stay with Allied bombers all the way to Berlin and back, a game changer for the war effort. Look at the side profile of the Mustang in flight. Those wings, with their laminar flow design, were sleek and efficient, reducing turbulence and drag. It wasn't just beautiful, it was scientifically ahead of its time. This gave the aircraft its graceful lines and impressive performance, allowing it to slice through the skis with unmatched efficiency. Now imagine a formation of Mustangs soaring high above Europe, contrails stretching across the endless blue. They weren't flying alone. These Mustangs escorted B-17 Flying Fortress bombers on daylight missions deep into enemy territory. Before their arrival, bomber losses were catastrophic. With Mustangs in the mix, losses dropped significantly, giving the Allies the edge they desperately needed. The images then take us into the heat of battle, a dramatic dogfight scene with a P-51 chasing down a German Messerschmitt Bf-109. This was where the Mustang's agility and firepower proved deadly. 6.50 caliber Browning M2 machine guns mounted in the wings gave it immense punch. In close-up you can see those guns ready for action. A burst from these could tear through enemy fighters or even disable heavily armored bombers. Overlay this with a wartime map showing Allied bombing routes stretching across Germany. The Mustangs didn't just fight enemy planes, they shaped the strategy of the air war. By keeping bombers safe, they ensured that factories, railroads, and fuel depots could be destroyed, crippling the German war machine. Without the Mustang, those raids may never have succeeded. Picture now a Mustang making a low landing on a dirt runway, dust clouds rising as it slows down. These fighters operated from rough forward bases, proving just how rugged and versatile they were. Pilots could rely on them not just in the sky, but also when returning battered and scarred from combat. And when the fight called for it, the Mustang could dive like a hawk. High-speed action shots capture it plunging toward its target, the wings and fuselage straining under the forces of gravity and speed. In these moments, its aerodynamic design and structural strength showed why it could outmatch many of its rivals. On the ground, squadrons of Mustangs lined up at airfields told their own story. Pilots standing proudly beside their aircraft symbolized not just firepower but morale. The Mustang became more than a machine, it became a badge of pride, a symbol of Allied strength in the skis. Some images even show the Mustang in black and white, frozen in history like a photograph from a newspaper clipping. These remind us that behind the glory were real people and real struggles. The Mustang wasn't just dominating, it was saving lives, helping to shorten the war and shifting the balance of power. Fast forward to today and you can see restored Mustangs flying at airshows. Polished to a mirror shine, they cut through modern skis not as weapons of war but as living history. Crowds still gasp as that distinctive roar of the Merlin engine echoes overhead. Decades later, the legacy of the Mustang remains strong. Finally, picture a cinematic shot of the P-51 against the backdrop of the setting sun, with space for the words, "Why it dominated WWII skis." This is the perfect ending image because it ties everything together. The Mustang dominated because it combined speed, range, and firepower with a rugged reliability that no other fighter of its time could match. It wasn't just a plane, it was the ultimate symbol of Allied air superiority. The P-51 Mustang became more than a machine, it became a legend. It was the fighter that gave bomber crews hope, the aircraft that broke the Luftwaffe's grip on the skis, and the design that stood the test of time. From its gleaming nose art to the roar of its Merlin engine, every part of the Mustang told a story of innovation, courage, and victory. And that's why, to this day, it remains one of the greatest fighters ever built. Thank you for watching Project Aviate, where history takes flight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Mustang, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us again as we explore the aircraft that shaped our world.